Lesson 10. In the world of infinitely small things. Because we are nurtured in the wondrous world of creation and we are familiar with it, we may be unaware of the importance of many of its wonders, such as 1. Insects and very tiny animals live around us, which if measured, would not even be 2 millimeters, but just like large animals, they have hands, feet, eyes, ears, even brains, awareness, a certain series of nerves and digestive facilities. If we put the brain of an ant under a microscope, and if we study its amazing structure with care, we would see what a strange and interesting body it has. The various parts are placed next to each other, each gives a command to a certain part of the tiny ant's body, and the slightest change in any of these areas would paralyze a part of its body. The strange part is that in this small brain, which is much smaller than the head of a pin, lies a world of awareness, wisdom, civilization, taste and art. It is such that a group of scholars spend many long years of their lives studying these animals. They include the interesting points in the books that they write for us. Can the person who created all of this awareness, wisdom, taste in such a small animal be a nature that does not itself have even a pinhead's amount of awareness and wisdom? 2.1 In the mysterious world, we know that the smallest creature recognized to date is their atom. Their atom is so small that even the strongest microscope, one which shows a piece of straw like a mountain, is not strong enough to see one. If you want to know how small an atom is, know that one drop of water has more atoms than the number of people upon the earth, and if we want to count the protons in 1 centimeter of a thin wire and we get 1,000 people to help us, and if in each second we separate out one of them, it will take 30 to 300 years, depending on the number of atoms, of working day and night to count all of them. Now that you have understood that 1 centimeter of a thin wire contains this many atoms, just think about how many atoms are in the heavens and on the earth, in water and the air and the stars and planets and the galaxy. Does one's mind not tire just thinking about it? No one other than their creator is worthy to count them. Atoms give us a lesson in monotheism. Learning about atoms, which are among the most important scientific discussions today, this tiny thing gives us a glad and happy lesson in monotheism because the world of atoms call our attention to them in 4 areas. 1. The extraordinary sense of order. To date, more than 100 elements have been discovered, beginning gradually with 1 electron and accepting up to over 100. This amazing order could never be born from an unaware or unintelligent factor. 2. Strong sense of balance. We know that 2 different electricities attract each other. Thus electrons which are negative and a nucleus which is positive should attract each other. In addition, we also know that the encirclement of electrons around a nucleus brings a repulsive force into being, flight from the center. Thus the pull of this force draws electrons away from the atomic environment. The atom is separated and its attractive forces want to attract the electrons and destroy the atom. It is here that one must see how accurately the force of attraction and repulsion have been systematically arranged in atoms so that neither do the electrons flee nor are they attracted, but are always in a state of balance, continuing their movement. It is possible that a blind and deaf nature bring this balance into being.
3. Each upon its own way. We have said that some atoms have a multiple number of electrons, but not that all of the electrons move in one circuit, but rather in multiple circuits, and each electron in a determined distance, each within its own area, with great speed move like this for millions of years, without any contradictions arising between them. It is a simple issue to place all of these in a fixed circuit and movement with an unbelievable system of order. 4. The great energy of the atom. In order to understand the great strength of the atom, just consider that in 1945, an experimental atom bomb was set off in the wilderness. A very small atomic bomb was placed upon a metal stand. After the explosion, the metal melted and then set off steam and electricity, and a frightful sound was heard. When scientists went to look for it, there was no sign of it. In this same year, 2 small bombs like these were inhumanely exploded over Japan by the USA, one in the city of Nagasaki and the other in the city of Hiroshima. In the first city, 70,000 people were killed instantly and the same number were injured, and in the second city, 30 to 40,000 people were killed instantly and the same number were injured, making Japan unconditionally surrender in the war with America. Is it not sufficient to simply study the small atom for the human being to come to know the greatness of the creator of the universe? It can then be said that there are as many reasons for the existence of God as there are atoms in the universe. And if all the trees on earth were pens and the ocean were ink, with 7 oceans behind it to add to its supply, yet would not the words of God be exhausted? 31:27. Think and answer. 1. Do you know other things about the life of ants? 2. Can you draw the structure of an atom on the blackboard?